Well, hi, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Southern Miss Sports Today with Coach Hopson, presented by Bancorp South. Golden Eagles were home last weekend, a Saturday night at the Rock, as the Golden Eagles took on the Warhawks of Louisiana Monroe. And kind of a crazy game, crazy first quarter, but unfortunately Monroe ends up winning the ball game. But give us just thoughts on what kind of transpired on Saturday.
Well, again, it's hard to find a silver lining. We certainly didn't play our best football. Just a lot of bad execution. I felt like offensively, it didn't seem like we ever really got it going. We started out fast from the beginning. We had Jalen took one about 75 for a touchdown, but never could really find our groove. Defensively, I thought there were times we played well, but we gave up some explosive plays that certainly missed execution assignments. So again, as a football coach, it was a tough night, it makes for a tough week. You're certainly ready to get back on the football field, but again, a lot of work to do.
Talking offensively, there were times you moved the ball, but just kind of shot yourself in the foot a few times when it looked like you might have a chance to get into the scoring zone, maybe get in the end zone.
Yeah, we had opportunities. We certainly got inside that plus side of the field plenty of times, but we got to finish those drives, and those are things I think that's important. It's okay to drive it between the 30s, but we got to get down there. We came up short on 4th and 1 or 2, and missed a few field goals. So we certainly we had our opportunities, and there late we had a turnover. So we had some opportunities to get down and give ourselves a chance to win the ball game. I was proud of the team's fight. Felt like we kept digging and kept plugging. Never saw any quit. So as a football coach, you're always proud of that fact. But again, we didn't execute well enough to win.
Okay, we're going to talk about Appalachian State a little bit later in the show. Coming up, though, we've got a feature on the Bobby Collins reunion. They had a reunion for Coach Collins this past weekend. He coached here from 75 to 81. A lot of great former players and assistant coaches back. And I know you always talk about your love of history of Southern Miss. And, of course, you were just a young guy when Bobby was coaching, but still Bobby's a guy that really helped build this program.
He is. He's a guy, I think, that put Southern Miss on the national map. And Coach Collins is a legend. He's a guy that, and what a great tribute to him, and to see all the old Southern Miss legends and great football players from that era to come back and spend time with him, and all the great coaches that have coached here that are all a lot of those guys branched from his tree. And again, he's an icon here, and certainly a guy that every honor, every accolade he gets is more than well deserved, and certainly it was great seeing Coach Collins on the field and honoring him Saturday. Yeah,
Bobby did a tremendous job when he was here at Southern Miss, helping take Southern Miss maybe to that next level beginning in 1975. So let's go back and take a look at some of the festivities, some of the fun just the other night out at the Canebrake Country Club as a Bobby Collins reunion took place.
The first of my memories are the players that we had and the effort that they put out on the football field. They did a great job. Certainly our coaches did an outstanding job, and we're proud of what went on, and we're proud that things got started and moving in the right direction.
Oh, this is awesome. He's one of the best coaches we ever had at the university. Did an awesome job for years. He was here my first 2 years. Coach Bill Clay recruited me. I think he had to talk Coach Collins into it because I was a bony kid from DeKalb, Mississippi, but appreciate Coach Collins giving me the opportunity, and loved him as a coach, and hated to see when he left my junior year when he went to SMU.
Probably the best memory I have is just the excitement that was created by Southern Miss football. I mean, to be ranked in the single digits, to play with the athletes that I played with, it was unbelievable. I played with some great guys and in a great university.
I believe, say I believe, say I do believe. I believe, say I believe, say I do believe. I believe, say I believe, say I do believe.
Well, it's great playing with Coach Collins. You always knew when you went on the field you were going to be prepared. he was always real structured in his practices, and he worked on the things that took to win, and he taught us, put that chip on our shoulder regardless of who we were playing, and we were always fired up, and he was just always on top of who we were playing and what we needed to do to win. And we just worked hard to do that, and he taught us to be nasty and mean and good sports at the same time. And so it was great.
You know, you keep up with guys on Facebook, and you know, you see their families and everything, but the camaraderie that we have as far as that group of guys that we went together, we bled together, we fought together, anyone, anytime, that was our motto. We didn't care who it was, we were going to play them, and they knew they were going to be in a ball game. So just to have that togetherness and that friendship, like I say, some of them I hadn't seen in 30 years, but it just picks back up, man. You remember when we did this? You remember that game? And yeah, it's just a great thing.
Oh, I mean, it's well deserved. It's long overdue. It should have happened a long time ago. I mean, you look at what he did, not only for me and a lot of these guys here, what he did for the university, what he did for the city during the time up until he left. I mean, he changed the landscape of Southern Miss football from the point of where we were I'm not going to say mediocre, but we were a tough team to the point that when he left my junior year, I mean, we were beating anybody. Anybody we felt like we were playing, we were going to win. Wasn't no such thing as moral victories at that time. Either we were going to win, and if we didn't win, we were disappointed. It was just a great time, you know, for me personally, you know, to do some things that had never been done before. But it's just a testament of the people who were here at that time, from Coach Collins on down, like I said before. You couldn't have asked for a better group of people.
Well, we won a lot. The best thing is been a fireman 28 years, and most of my fans, I'm up from Meridian there in DeKalb, and most of the folks up there are State or Ole Miss fans, and I was 4-0 against State with Coach Collins, and 3-1 against Ole Miss, so that's the good times for me is winning.
Well, I would like to think that, you know, seeing players that he probably hadn't seen and since he coached them, coming back to see him, to support him, that speaks well of what he was as a coach and a mentor to us, guys that think that much of him to come here tonight.
It's great you get to see everybody. It's a little embarrassing to me that there's so many of my coaches and players and all that deserve all the credit, and they carried me along for the ride.
You know, when I accepted this position, you know, one of the things that was really important to me was collaboration. I wanted to make sure that athletics was collaborating with the institution as a whole. I didn't want athletics to be perceived to be out on an island on their own. I think you've seen that, or our campus, our coaches, our student athletes see that with the amount of collaboration that we have and the partnerships across campus. The Jeff Bauer Academic Center location is a perfect example of that. Dr. Bennett and his staff have been very generous with how they support our athletic program. That really also would correlate to the city of Hattiesburg. We've got great relationships. The mayor and his staff have been very supportive of this institution, of this athletic department, the new transit system that we have that is both a university and a city entity that we can all benefit from. I think it really talks about how important it is for athletics, the university as a whole, and the city to work together. We all benefit one another. There is a benefit to this institution being in this town, and I'm really talking, globally. We benefit the entire South Mississippi community the more that we can partner with one another to help benefit one another. They say, rising tides lift all boats. And I really see that, as we engage the community, the community engages the institution. We all benefit from a strong city relationship, from a strong institutional relationship, and obviously strong athletic relationships. Cross country, obviously we did very well last year in Conference USA. We have some really good returning student athletes. I anticipate our cross country program to be very successful this year. Coach John Stewart, Aaron Kindt, who work with our track and field and cross country programs, high quality individuals. They've done a really good job recruiting, and our student athletes have performed very well. So I anticipate similar results this year. Not to put pressure on our coaches and student athletes, but it is what we expect here at Southern Miss. We expect to compete, our coaches expect to compete at a high level, and our student athletes expect that. And so I look forward to watching them run this fall.
Been thinking about it since I was a kid.
Mom would be so proud.
If I could do it for a living.
Using my mom's recipes to open up a cupcake shop.
For my daughter to go to vet school.
Singing karaoke in all 50 states.
Captaining my own shrimp boat.
Tell us what you dream about. With the right loan or savings plan, we can make it a reality, no matter how crazy.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Keeping you within reach of what matters most. We're Bancorp South, and we're right where you are.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby. You got me falling hard for you. And still, I felt this way before. You know it's true. And still, you got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
The last couple of years with cross country, we've grown a lot. We've, went from 4th to 2nd last year with a really young team. So this year we return a lot of people, and it's a season that we take a lot of pride in with our track team now. It's one where now we're expecting to compete for trophies. So we've grown a lot in that area, and I'm very excited about this coming season. So this year we have 7 of our 9 returning from last year. A couple of our top runners, Kate Maddox was the freshman of the year last year, had a great outdoor campaign in track, finished number 2 in the country as a freshman in the 1500. You have Regan McGee and Savannah McMillan, who were also all-conference performers last year in cross country. They have great success in track in the last couple of years to kind of be the front group. And then you have Monica Gelnbersevska, who had a great breakout conference outdoor championship last year in the steeple. I'm expecting a big season from her. So those will be the names you see pop up a lot this year in the fall. So, for people that don't know a lot about cross country, it's a sport that they're running every day, and they're putting in at least 45 to 70 minutes of running, just about 7 days a week. And so it's not just one specific day that we look at in training. It's weeks and months that we look at over the course of the season. And so these athletes are constantly in season. For cross country runners, they have the fall, the indoor season from January to March, and then the outdoor season that goes all the way to June. So they are almost running every day of the year. So they're constantly in season. constantly having to be focused on their nutrition, their sleep, and their preparation. So there's never a dull moment for a cross-country runner. Cross-country for the women, we mostly run 5Ks, which is about 3.1 miles. Towards the end of the season, the NCAA Regional and NCAA Championships will run 6K, which is just shy of 4 miles. So that's about what we run typically for competitions. You know, training, it varies with the individual athlete, but I'd say most of our athletes are running between 50 and 70 miles a week to prepare for that. You know, coming off of last year's outdoor championships, I think going into this season as far as expectations, you know, we finally got a taste of what it's like to be on the podium. You know, we were second in cross country, second indoors, got the win. And now this year, you know, I think this group is looking to compete for championships. You know, I think with what we have returning and who we have coming in, I definitely think that we have a chance to bring home a trophy in at least one of the 3 seasons, but hopefully we're competing in all 3 seasons to bring home those championship trophies.
Honestly, I'm not surprised by Doug's success. When I coached at Oak Grove those 2 years, right before like a couple of days before I actually go out to practice, I reached out to Doug and I said, "Hey, you coached at Calvary Baptist over in Shreveport. You got any advice?" And he's like, "Kiss." And I said, "Okay." He said, "Keep it simple, stupid." And I told Doug the story this morning. I said, "Okay." So I scaled my playbook down to 2 pages. Went out there for practice. I want my Z's over here, my receivers. I want my X receivers over here. And I said, "All right, look, you're always going to line up on the right, Z's, okay?" The Z's, okay. And I had one kid back there in the back. I said, "You're always on the numbers on the right. X's, you're always on the numbers on the left." That little kid raised his hand back there. I said, "Yeah, you got a question?" He goes, "You said, okay, I'm on the right, we're going this way." And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "What happens if we go the other way?" And I was stumped. I turned around and I said, "You're on it right, over the numbers." So I realized that what Doug was saying was so true. Keep it simple, stupid. And it was a lot better after that.
Brett, you still have to keep it simple, even at this level.
Well, you know, and like we went to the Super Bowl, Deanna and I, we went up, and I never go to a game. But last year, obviously, Doug's playing in the Super Bowl, and we were telling Doug and Jeannie last night about, I'm sitting up in Deanna stayed at our friend's house during the game in Minnesota, and I took Breeley and our oldest daughter and my niece, and so we went and watched the game. We watched it like normal people, and man, you talk about stressful. But what an unbelievable play calling, you know, not just because a trick play works, but the simplicity is so overlooked. Being in pro football for so long, there's so much over coaching, and Doug knows what I'm talking about, and being able to just kind of take a deep breath and just, you know, and Gruden's the worst. I love him to death, and he's a brilliant mind, and that works against him sometimes because he's got all these plays that he wants to run, emotions and stuff, but being able to just look at your team, digest what you have, run plays that fit your team, and stick with it, and that's what Doug has done. And to me, like the win the other night that Doug had was as brilliant as the Super Bowl, because they're not always going to be as pretty, but you got to find a way to win them. And he pulled one out of the, the hat again.
The hat.
We're running out of Philly plays, Doug.
We're running out of
Philly plays.
We need Rocky 1 and Rocky 2 now.
Hey, Doug, when Brett told you that he'd always kind of come back and help out there at Oak Grove a little bit, well, when he told you that Neville Barr wanted to be the offensive coordinator, what went through your mind, and what advice, if any, did you give him?
First of all, I had to pick myself off the floor because I never thought he would coach football ever. But you know what? I tell you, I think I wasn't, again, and probably the same way he was, I wasn't surprised that he wanted to stay around and stick around football. The love of the game, the passion of the game, and I think the biggest thing and the biggest joy, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but the biggest joy I got out of doing high school football was just watching those young men grow, and then seeing them today turn into men and fine young gentlemen, and that to me was the exciting thing about coaching high school football. So I knew that was his heart, and that's his passion, and that's what and why he wanted to get into it, and coach those boys.
It's kind of neat. I mean, your second year as a head coach, you win the whole thing. Brett, was it your second year as coordinator? You guys won the whole thing.
Yeah, I would say it was similar too. With Super Bowl, the high school state championship. I think ours was probably a little more special.
And we're back once again, Southern Miss Sports Today with Coach Jay Hopson, presented by Bank Corp South. The Eagles getting ready to make their first road trip of the year, traveled over to Boone, North Carolina to take on Appalachian State. And Hop will talk about them in a minute, but talk about your team's recent trip over to the DeBarge School here on the campus of the University of Southern Mississippi. And that's always something you guys do every year. They have, I forget, they call it Golden Eagle Day or something like that, and Black and Gold Day, I guess.
Like every Friday before our first home game, we do that, and it's really an eye-opening experience. The kids there are amazing, and the teachers there do just a tremendous job, John. It's amazing to see the progress the kids make, and I was talking to a lot of the instructors, a lot of the teachers this year, talking about just it's amazing. You see how far the kids have come in just a short time that I've been going over to the DeBarge School recently. And give those teachers, give that faculty over at the DeBarge School a hug if you see them, because they do an outstanding job with the children, and it's certainly an honor of our football team to be invited over there.
Do you see your guys, your players, when they go over there, maybe not knowing what to expect, and then they see that, and all of a sudden those big guys kind of melt around those little kids?
I think we get more out of it than the kids do. The teachers always say it's a big day for them, and the kids look so forward to it. But as coaches, as players, when you go by and you experience that, you realize how blessed you are, and you also realize just what a blessing these children are, and just it's amazing. The whole experience is really amazing.
All right, first road trip of the year over to Boone, North Carolina to take on Appalachian State. Appalachian State opened the year taking Penn State to overtime, and then got a victory over Charlotte out of Conference USA last Saturday. What do you see when you watch
It's
them?
a good football team. Appalachian State is a football program that has been consistent. They've year in and year out. You're playing a good football team. We've certainly, one team I worry about is Southern Miss, and we certainly need to pick our game up this week and need to execute at a higher level. We know, as always, from here on out, we have big challenges week in and week out. We know it's a big challenge, but I want to see our football team play at a high execution level and come out and play solid, hard-nosed Southern Miss Golden Eagle football.
Challenge, of course, of Appalachian State. They're a good football team. Also the first road trip, so that's you played the first two at home, so a little different to go on the road this week.
Right, and it's certainly, I'm kind of looking forward to it. We certainly like to pride ourselves on playing well away from home, so it's our first challenge, and it's a big challenge, and so looking forward to getting to North Carolina, and just want to see our football team play at a much higher level this week.
Also, this past week had a couple of NFL quarterbacks on campus. Brett Favre was here. Doug Pederson, the head coach of the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. That was kind of a neat thing to do this past weekend.
Yeah, it really is. Of course, it's those guys are two legends, and again, NFL stars in their own right. I was blessed to know him briefly or experienced some time, crossed with briefly in high school and college, played an all-star game with Brett a long time ago, and then with Doug. I used to do football camps over in Monroe with Doug Pederson back in the day. So at that time, he was at Louisiana Monroe, at that time Northeast Louisiana, and so got to know him back then, and he's just done outstanding things at Philadelphia. So congratulations to him and everything he's accomplished, and it's always great having Brett around the program.
All right, Hop. Well, thanks as always for the weekly visit, and we look forward to this game on Saturday against Appalachian State. So appreciate it. Thanks for being with us.
Appreciate it.
Coach Jay Hopson and the Golden Eagles hit the road for the first time this year over at Appalachian State. That's a Saturday afternoon game, 2:30 Central Time kickoff between the Golden Eagles and the Mountaineers of Appalachian State. Don't forget, Mondays we're at Georgia Blue in Hattiesburg talking Golden Eagle football on the Golden Eagle hotline. Why not come by, visit with us, and talk a little Golden Eagle football with Coach Hopson as the Eagles get ready for this week's game with Appalachian State. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next time. Another inside look into Golden Eagle football.
Been thinking about it since I was a kid.
Mom would be so proud.
If I could do it for a living.
Using my mom's recipes to open up a cupcake shop.
For my daughter to go to vet school.
Singing karaoke in all 50 states.
Captaining my own shrimp boat.
Tell us what you dream about. With the right loan or savings plan, we can make it a reality, no matter how crazy.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Keeping you within reach of what matters most. We're Bancorp South, and we're right where you are.
I am more than just your local pharmacist. We eat at the same restaurants, and we give back to our community. At Rogers Family Pharmacy, we are dedicated to keeping you and your family happy and healthy. Download the Health Mart app to your mobile device and easily enter your refills, pill reminders, and so much more. Rogers Family Pharmacy, where we treat you like family. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Hey Southern Miss fans, it's Toby Barker, Mayor of Hattiesburg. Mickey Spagnola once wrote, "If you're going to war and you get to choose first, choose Southern Mississippi. Always choose Southern Mississippi. Don't fight Southern Mississippi, because no matter how hard you fight, those folks will fight harder." His words capture the character of our institution and our city. We here in Hattiesburg are writing a new story, one where we rise to our challenges with great excitement, one where we push our city to reach its potential, and most importantly, one where there's real partnership between the University of Southern Mississippi and the city of Hattiesburg. Southern Miss is vital to our city's success, from the quality of life it provides through athletics and the arts to the talent it cultivates in the classroom. We share a common destiny. Hattiesburg is proud to be Mississippi's college city, and we hope as we go forward you'll join us in supporting our Golden Eagles this season as they go to the top.